Hi, I want to read to you Joshua chapter 13, verses 1 and 7. Now Joshua was old and advanced in years, and the Lord said to him, "You are old and advanced in years," kind of stating the obvious, "and there remains yet very much land to possess." Now it's going down to verse 7. "Now therefore divide this land for an inheritance to the 9 tribes and half the tribe of Manasseh." Remember that 2.5 tribes had already received their inheritance on the other side. That was Gad and Reuben and the other half of Manasseh. So these are the only ones left who they had not divided up the land and assigned them their own territories yet. Now remember that Joshua and Caleb were the oldest people in the entire nation of Israel. Everybody who had come out of Egypt above a certain age, God had condemned to die in the wilderness, except for these 2 men. So he was ancient compared to everybody else. He wasn't as old as Moses, but he was up there, and he was still leading battles leading in the conquest of Canaan. God was reminding him that as he's getting older and this conquest is dragging on, he's probably not going to live long enough to see the end of it. And even more importantly, he wanted to remind him that there is a purpose for the conquest. The war should never be fought simply for the sake of war, but to accomplish a goal. And the goal here was to assign inheritance to the tribes. And if Joshua died without that ever happening, there was a good chance that it would never happen. He was the leader, and he was keeping Israel together. This same principle is true in every area of life, whether you are negotiating a contract or fighting a war today or arguing with your spouse. Know what the fight is about. If you don't know why you're fighting, you won't know where it ends. The fight just goes on. If you always have a clear idea of what your goal is, then you can find a resolution to the conflict that makes as many people as possible satisfied. If you don't know why you're fighting, you could end up fighting a war in some backwards country on the other side of the world, fighting over an emotion or something, and we wouldn't want that. So know what you're fighting for before you get into a fight. Know what the final goal is and have an exit strategy. This is Jay Carper from American Torah. Be blessed.